guys, so today I'm doing a video on a little bit of a pre-fall makeup look. So if you guys want to see how I got this look right here, keep watching. Just gonna fast forward through my moisturizing routine just because that's super boring and I know you guys want to get into my makeup look, so let's fast forward through. So now I'm gonna pick up my Anastasia brow pomade in the color dark brown. Ever since I switched from the brow powder to this pomade, my life has changed completely. So now I'm using the Anastasia 12 brush to comb out my brows and put them in place before I apply the pomade. Okay, so now I'm going to underline the lower part of my eyebrow, and then I start with the tail. That should always be your darkest part just because you don't want your eyebrows to look too unnatural. And then I go on to use whatever's left of the product. I never want to re-dip because it's going to be way too harsh for the front of your brows. So I just use whatever's left and kind of fill in the front of my eyebrows really light. Now I'm just going to continue to fill in the front of my eyebrow and just perfect anything that needs to be perfected. And as you can see, my right eyebrow is my favorite and best looking eyebrow ever. So then I'm going to start onto my left, which is my bad eyebrow, and I'm going to be fast forwarding through it to save some time. So now for my favorite part, I use my NYX HD Concealer in the shade Medium, and I'm using my Michelle Daniel concealer brush. I dip that into the concealer and just underline or sort of like outlining your eyebrows. This just makes them more defined. You can skip this step at the top. It's unnecessary. I just like my eyebrows to have the same shape and be really crisp. Also, if you don't want to do this, you can just underline the bottom and make them appear a little more natural, but I'm going for more dramatic and bold eyebrows, so I always do this step in my routine. Sorting through, I'm just going to be doing the same thing I did to my right eyebrow onto my left one. And in order to blend out the concealer, instead of using a brush, I like to use my fingertips just because it melts the product a little bit nice and smooth versus using my brush. And this is the final results of how my eyebrows look on a regular basis when I use my Dip Brow by Anastasia. Now taking my Urban Decay Original Eyeshadow Primer, I'm just going to dot that all over my eyelids to apply a base for my shadows. So I have a super cool trick for you guys today. Basically what I'm going to take is some tape, and it's just regular Scotch tape. Apply that on the back of your hand so that way it's not so sticky when you apply it on your face, and when you take it off it won't hurt. So you're just going to line the tape. If you want to use the second highest point of your eyebrow and line that underneath your lash line, so when you do your shadows it applies them really nicely and you don't have all this crazy mess when blending in your eyeshadows. Plus it leaves a really nice sharp crisp line. Now it's time to whip this bad boy out. It's my Shadow Couture by Anastasia, which I am in love with. And I'm going to use my Real Techniques Shadow Crease Dome Brush, which I also love. And taking the color Peach, I'm going to apply that all over my eyeshadow just so I can get the tackiness from my primer that I applied away. So now what I'm going to do is use the color Fudge in my outer V and just continually build that color up. Sorry guys, I forgot to show you the color on my palette, but it is the color Fudge, and we're just going to apply that continually and building up that really pretty brown color. Now we're going to take Fudge and do the same thing onto the other eye. Just using the brush that came with the palette, which is a fantastic brush. and I'm going to blend out fudge that is in my crease and outer V, just so I don't have any harsh lines. You're just going to want to blend and blend and blend until it looks seamless and there aren't so many rough edges. This is also one of the most important parts because it sets a line for where you are going to apply your base shadow. So picking up the Milk pencil by NYX Cosmetics, I'm going to apply that onto the base of my lid and blending that out with my finger. Doing this step ensures that your eyeshadow will show up a little more vivid versus light toned, and it kind of holds your eyeshadow together. Okay, so now we're going to pick up the Vice 2 palette and the shade Ambush. I'm using my e.l.f. shadow brush and applying that color all over my lid. This color is super pretty, but I don't use this palette as often, so I thought it would be a perfect palette to use for this video. So now onto the other eyelid, we're going to do the same exact thing we did to the right eyelid, and I'm just going to build up that color on both of my eyelids. Now taking my angled eyeshadow brush, I'm using the color Morocco from the Shadow Couture palette and applying this color above my fudge color into my transitioning shade area. This is just going to give the color a little more depth and warm tones. Okay, so now after I'm done with blending in my eyeshadow on my right eye, I go onto the left eye and do the exact same thing. And this is what your eyeshadow should look like so far. So now going back in with the color Fudge, I'm just going to darken up my outer V, just because after all the blending it kind of faded away, so I just want to darken that up a little and repeat the same step onto the left side of my eye. Now using my Vice 2 palette, I'm picking up the color Strike, which is a nice light gold shimmery shade, and using my Crown pencil brush to apply this gold shade into my inner part of my eye, or my tear duct as you would say. This just gives a little highlight and pop of color into this fall brown smoky eye look. Now all you need to do is carefully peel off the Scotch tape from your eyes, and as you can see, it looks super crisp and clean. This is what my face looks like after I have applied my foundation, contoured, highlighted, and applied my blush. So I tell you guys this every video I make, but using my favorite accent brush by Real Techniques, I'm going to use the color Ambush, which is the one we used on my lid already, and apply that on my lower lash line, kind of smoking that out. And I'm going to apply that a couple of times just to build up the color, then using Morocco and doing the same thing. And hit the dance moves. Honestly, I have no idea what I was dancing to because I wasn't listening to any music. So awkward. Wet n Wild Max Volume Mascara, I'm going to apply this onto my eyelashes to give myself a natural eye look. I was going to apply falsies, but I didn't find my lash glue, unfortunately, so I'm just using mascara today. And yes, I used two different mascaras. The lower lash line, I'm going to use Telescopic Lash Extensions. The brush is just really small and precise, so I'm able to get every single lash and separate them really nice without any of the lashes clumping. I already lined my lips with a Jordana lip liner. Honestly, I have no idea what the name is, just because the name kind of rubbed off after I used it so many times. And now I'm using my Milani Matte Collection. It is in the color Love. And I'm just going to build that color up. For some reason, this color wasn't as pigmented as I thought it would be, but it's a beautiful color and I thought it worked really well with this eye look. You guys know I cannot finish my makeup without my finishing setting spray, which is by Urban Decay. It's the D-Slick, because because I have oily T-zones, I want to ensure that my makeup lasts a long time and spritz that all over your face.